Is live streaming. Oh, maybe I should share the I gotta share the audio thing first. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Share. We're doing it live. There we go. Advanced computer.
Doing it live.
All right, hitting it.
Hit it.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yes. Hello, Earl. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. I gotta shoot some fancy videos after this, so hence the fancy suit now.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo. I'm wearing like a Star Wars t-shirt. If I'd known we were dressing up fancy, I would have dressed up fancy.
I was wearing a t-shirt, and someone's like, I shot all these videos, and they're like, yo, do them again. I'm like, well, we can do them again. He's like, no, you can't wear a t-shirt when you make the fancy video. I'm like, fine. so here we are.
Come on, Earl, get it together.
So
Oh,
he's like, you're not allowed to wear the hat. I'm like, oh, really? Come on, it's part
that's
of
your thing.
the look.
It's your signature thing.
So I will shoot the videos with and without the hat. I got a haircut and everything, so I will shoot them with and without, and we'll see which one. We'll A/B split test them, and we'll figure out which one does better. Hell, I'll even A/B split test the ones with the T-shirt and see if that one still sells anything. We'll see.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm in a bad mood. I just went to the oil change place, and it was one of those, oh yeah, your transmission needs to, oh, the spark plugs, oh yeah, also the air filter, oh, also the, okay, go ahead.
It's the damage at the end.
Just do it.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, but whatever, the car needs it. It's a good Toyota automobile. It'll last forever if I treat it nice, so it's worth doing.
So you're not like me, and you're not just like, hey, what's the bare minimum I can do without the car exploding into a ball of flame? Okay, cool, do that.
That's what I was like with my last car, because I was pretty sure it was going to explode into a ball of flame at any minute, so I never wanted to put more into it than I absolutely had to. And then eventually, the steering started wobbling. I don't even understand why. Someone charged me like $300 to fix something that was not the problem, and the steering kept wobbling. But yeah, it was like every time I was driving that car anywhere, anytime we went on a road trip or just even,
for your life.
I was like, every time there's like a little thump or a little clang or something, I'm like, well, that's it. Cars, we're walking home. I'm spending $800 on a tow truck. Although I BCA, I could have just gotten it to tow it. But now I got a Toyota. Toyotas are supposed to last forever. I just saw an article about a Toyota making it 900,000 kilometers.
Holy crap.
986 or something. Actually, it was a Honda, but yeah, Toyota's and Honda, same deal. So I figure it's worth putting a little money in it to treat it right, and it's pretty cheap, relatively speaking.
Well, I still got a 2007 Lexus, and that thing is still a workhorse and refuses to die. So it's like, I guess we'll keep.
Lexus is made by Toyota, isn't it?
Same family, same. Just it's a fancy Toyota, so they get all the bells and whistles and doohickeys before Toyota.
Right, it's just a fancy Toyota.
It's fancy.
You know what bothers me though? So Toyota and Honda, and their subsidiaries, Lexus, Acura, Scion, I think is a Toyota as well. Probably some other things I'm not thinking of. So that company has figured out how to make a car that lasts forever and doesn't break down.
Right.
So the know-how to make a car that lasts and doesn't need repairs every 20 minutes and just keeps going and going forever, it exists. It's on the planet. It's not a thing like, well, it's a car. They always break down. That's how cars are. We fixed it. We've done this.
Right.
And yet Ford, Chevy, I don't know, Fiat, whoever else.
Well, that's why Ford just stands for Found on Road Dead, right? Or Fixed
Found on Road Dead, yeah. Or what's the other one? Kia. Kia, Volkswagen. So European and North American, Korean. I'm not just picking on one geographical zone here. I asked the mechanic before I bought a car, I said, what do you think about Volkswagen? He said, they're our biggest money makers.
It's a compliment and a slap at the same time.
Yeah, right. So it really bugs me that the know-how to make workable vehicles exists. It's not an impossible target. And yet only 2 out of 8, 10, whatever major car manufacturers haven't bothered to figure it out.
Right.
Because
Well,
one assumes they just want to keep selling you cars, right?
well, that's the thing, though. It makes more money when it breaks down, right? So there you go. Sometimes it's obsolete on purpose.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
One of those evil concepts.
Well, isn't there some light bulb still from like a bajillion years ago that's still working? That's on to this day. That's still running right now.
Get this. Look up the light bulb conspiracy. I think it's a light bulb conspiracy. This isn't even like an Alex Jones style conspiracy theory. Should have Alex Jones. The light bulb manufacturers, they're colluding.
Right.
The neocon light bulb manufacturers.
Yeah.
No, there was actually a thing. They have a picture of the rig where the light bulb consortium. I feel like I'm using my hands a lot more. The light bulb consortium had a rig where they would put all the manufacturers' light bulbs in this rig and flick it on. And if anybody's light bulb lasted too long, they'd penalize them.
Oh, damn.
This isn't even some whacked out conspiracy theory. It actually happened. They actually got together and agreed on how long to make their light bulbs last and penalized any manufacturer who stepped out of line on that and made a light bulb that lasted too long. Stop it.
Yeah, but now there's LED lights, and those damn things last forever unless
exactly. How long ago do you think they actually have the technology for LED lights that last forever?
Who knows?
I heard one time, this one I haven't confirmed as being true, but I heard that Tesla designed the fluorescent light tube, that was his model. But I heard that his original design lasted indefinitely. It was just a tube full of gas.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to go wrong. And then when I guess it was GE got a hold of it and started manufacturing it, they added a filament that would burn out, so the thing wouldn't last forever. But you'd think that would open up the opportunity for someone to step in and make the everlasting light bulb. Like what mechanism would they have to stop you? Like either, I guess, threats, intimidation, or offers to buy out your company, probably.
Pretty much it. Just the giant money gun.
I think from what I hear, and again, this is kind of conspiratorial, but it's either you either get the money gun or the real gun.
Yeah. How many guys invented the car that runs on water and then got, disappeared?
Yeah. I've heard that they'll show up at your house and they say, listen, this will crash the whole economy if you put this out. Our economy is all based on buying oil. And if nobody had to buy oil, and so they try to appeal to your sense of decency to not release the technology that's going to crash the economy like that. And if you don't listen, they just either buy the patent off you or kill you.
Well, there's 2 ways to play here. So speaking of 2 ways to play, that's
two ways to play. Are you trying to get us back on track, Earl?
That's our segue back into our Chat GPT prompt, which was very epic today.
Very epic. Are you trying to stop this from turning into just a straight up conspiracy show? Because I'll go there.
Maybe a little. We'll make that's great. There's Earl and the Idiot and this conspiracy theory.
All right. Let's get back on track. Let's dive right into it.
Let's dive right in. There you go.
What is today's prompt, Earl? Tell us.
So I started looking deeper into prompts, and I got better results when you ask ChatGPT to act as a role type.
Oh, okay.
I started using these 3 particular role types. So act as an expert, act as a devil's advocate, and act as a consultant. And I kind of mooshed all 3 together for today's prompt. It was acting as an expert, a devil's advocate, and as a consultant. Please, 3 reasons to use AI over outsourcing. And then the inverse, the reverse. And then 3 reasons to use outsourcing over AI.
All right.
So
you might say that today's episode is kind of a man versus machine sort of a situation, right?
Back and forth, but we made the machine answer all the questions. So there you go. So
okay, well, I guess I better change my background to something appropriate then.
Oh, very nice. Man versus machine. Excellent.
You might not be surprised to learn this was generated by AI.
I can tell by the long ass art.
Yeah. It took quite a while. I kept having to refine the prompt.
Man
And,
versus
but here we go. There's a boxing match between some kind of android and
machine.
some kind of long-armed human. With the humans got the reach over the android right off the bat. I'm giving it to the human on reach alone.
Reach just on the lefty there though.
Yeah, just on his
Right
jab.
arm looks normal, so that's the jab from across the entire ring.
Jab. I just realized, Earl, you actually haven't given me the output prompt for me to read from to run the show.
The
I'll
output
be
prompt,
ineffective as a host.
it's sitting in the
Sitting in the
document.
thing. All right, let me pull it up. Do-do-do-do.
So you're busy making mid-journey pictures, so you should.
Yeah.
There you
Oopsie. Do-do-do. There it is. That was easy.
How do you tell which one's which though? Because both of them. Well, I guess one guy's in red and white and shorts, and one guy's in red shorts. So you can just say,
Yeah, in the red and white.
the fact that one guy has a long ass left arm.
Exactly. Okay.
There you go. So robot versus
right.
outsource. Which should it be? So
Which should it be? So we have, what does AI tell us? Reasons to use AI over outsourcing. So you had AI advocate on its own behalf. This is going to be biased now.
a little bit.
All right. So what does it say? It says number one, cost efficiency. That makes sense.
Mhm.
AI technology can provide significant cost savings compared to outsourcing. Once an AI system is developed and implemented, it can perform tasks at a fraction of the cost of outsourcing, especially in the long run. AI can automate repetitive and time-consuming tasks, reducing the need for human resources and minimizing operational expenses. That's kind of just obviously true, isn't it? AI being largely free.
And sadly true too, because there's people who could have been hired for jobs and whatnot, but the AI has completely replaced them in this case. So
Yeah.
there's jobs we could have hired for, and we were actually about to hire for. Then the AI came, and we're like, why don't we just use this? And it's doing actually a pretty darn good job. So it's like, oh well, there goes a person's job. So yeah, definitely cost efficiency wise, AI is fantastic. And the funny thing is, not only is there's cost efficiency, but it's actually better than humans at certain things. So what I found is that it's not better at writing necessarily, because a human writes better than the AI, but an AI summarizes better than humans, like so much so. It's crazy how fast the summaries are written and how accurate they are and how just good they are, comparatively speaking. Because I've had people write summaries up, and then the AI writes summaries up, and the AI ones are better.
So
like long form content, humans win longer term, but then the hybrid of both, it's magic. So
tell me, what do you mean by the hybrid of both?
well, there's some stuff that we have the human team build out a bunch of stuff, and then we have the robot team then augment it, and then vice versa, and we ping pong it back and forth between the two, and you get this magic sauce that just is like, wow, this is better than pure machine, better than pure human. It's kind of the best of both worlds. So
Cyborgs for the win.
cyborg.
So yeah, like good moment to bring it up. This famous case we just heard of, where a guy was having an AI do his legal preparations.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this one? Like,
Yeah.
preparing legal briefs or whatever, and the AI sorted, not sorted. What's the word I'm looking for? Referenced, cited. That's what I'm looking for. It cited legal cases that it just made up.
That's always good.
It said, as noted in the case of robot versus human.
Right.
So it just made up. It just randomly decided to make up cases to cite because it sounds good. It doesn't. Maybe it didn't realize, those citations have to reflect real cases.
Well, then couldn't you ask the artificial intelligence and just to write a bibliography for the source and cite the sources? So
if you were a genius like Earl, yeah, but not this idiot apparently.
So you just ask, where's the source of all this stuff? Can you please cite your sources? I think there's like different versions of OpenAI that allow you to cite the sources, and then it pulls the sources in, so you have the bibliography behind it all, right? Because if you're writing like a college paper, whatever, you kind of need the sources, right? So there you go.
But then again, if you just what you were talking about there, the combination of human and machine, you should have a human double check everything before you actually go to court with it.
Yeah, typically, yeah, that'd be a good.
Right.
That'd be a good plan.
Because I don't know how you'd be sure that the AI hadn't invented the bibliography as well. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true as well. So
Can you say only cite real cases?
yeah, only cite cases with multiple sources that are verifiable, right? As opposed to stuff I pulled out of my robot butt. Then yeah,
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we're just still at the very baby stages of all this, and it's getting crazy. Although, no doubt, be excuse me, a legal one which will only cite real legal cases.
Well, if you think about it,
Really
AI
part
is
of its
still a
programming.
baby, right? And if you ask the child with the green crayon on their hand, "Hey, who drew green crayon stuff on the wall?" They're like, "No, I didn't do it." You know, it's still in the foundling stages here. So it's yeah, man. If you ask it, "Hey, did you do this?" It's like, "No, man, I didn't do it."
Oh boy, I got hiccups now. Never thought of what would happen if I got hiccups in the middle of a podcast. I ate a massive sandwich. You start eating a sandwich and you're like, I should probably stop eating this sandwich, save it for later, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, yeah, I'll just finish the sandwich.
Oh no, I'm Filipino. It's in our bloodline. We don't surrender. We just keep eating.
Never surrender.
Never give up. Never surrender. Eat the sandwich. Don't be a bitch. So but I'm weird with hiccups. I get like one hiccup out of the blue, out of nowhere, and then it's gone. It's just one, and it's over, right? And it's but the rest of my family, they get hiccups. They're screwed for the rest of the day. And it's like for the rest of the day, just random hiccups. And they're like, and then they see me once in a while. They see me do the one hiccup. It's like one hiccup every 2 months, and they're like, I saw it. It's like seeing a comet. Like,
hiccup.
Saw that hiccup. I'm like, yeah, shut up. And then they're like, we hate you. Like, why? Because like you've got one hiccup, and then for the next 2 months you never hiccup again. I'm like, well, that's how hiccups work for me. So there you go.
Yeah, so sometimes I can just knock it out right away, and sometimes I'm like crazy loud hiccups for the rest of the evening.
Gotcha.
So it seems to have settled down now. So fingers crossed, we're done with it.
Well, that's good.
But so cost efficiency. So like, actually, let me ask you this as an idiot. Generally, AI is free.
For now.
Yeah.
For now. But it
seems like a lot of it's open source, so you couldn't even paywall it if you wanted to. Someone else would just.
Even paying for it is cheaper. Even paying for it.
Yeah.
So like GPT Pro counts what, $20? So yeah, there you go.
Do you think that a lot of outsourcing companies are running scared right now, or do they figure their jobs are safe?
Depends on the outsourcing task required, right? So like here's an example. A startup I was talking to just recently has this brilliant idea, and what she's doing is she put together basically OpenTable but for everything, which is kind of crazy. So OpenTable, you can make reservations for stuff.
What's OpenTable?
You can make reservations at restaurants.
Okay.
And so she's got OpenTable but for everything. So you want to get a haircut, you want to get a massage, you want to get a restaurant, you want to get this, that, and everything else. You want to book stuff. You do it through I think her company it's called Roar, and you do it through Roar, and it's pretty cool. I mean, that's brilliant. But she's also going to incorporate an AI, which actually then gets to know what you like and what you're interested in, and saying, it's been 3 weeks since your last haircut. You usually get them every 2 to 4 weeks. Your favorite barbershop is open at this time. Would you want to book a slot? And it just starts figuring out what you like. So it knows that Dan and Earl getting together. Dan likes this kind of food. Hey, this restaurant is open. You guys want to go? That's brilliant, because then it gets rid of the whole what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? What do you know? And just let the robots decide. We're gonna eat here. Why? Because the robot said so. So
fair enough. I already have a thing that can make reservations at any kind of facility. It's called a telephone. I call them up and say, I'd like a reservation, please. And they go, sure.
Yeah,
but
your
reservation
to do multiple of those against multiple stuff and in a city that you don't know, for example, would be really useful.
I don't know. I don't make that many reservations, but maybe that's just me.
Oh,
all right, let's move on. Scalability and flexibility. AI offers scalability, excuse me, and flexibility. Advantages over outsourcing. With AI, you can easily adjust the system's capacity and capability as per your needs. You can scale it up or down without being dependent on external service providers or dealing with contractual obligations. AI systems can handle large volumes of data and tasks simultaneously, making them more adaptable to changing business requirements. I'm having crazy deja vu right now. Have we done this before?
We talked about what was last week's. Well, last week was what are the best practices for outsourcing, but this is using AI over outsourcing. So I think that's one of the scalability and flexibility was something that with outsourcing beat hiring over.
Mhm.
But when you look at it from machine versus outsourcing, technically the machine beats the outsourcing on scalability and flexibility. So yes,
Dumb that down for me. What do we mean when we say scalability?
for example, I have an outsourcer that sorts all my videos, right?
Mhm.
But there's only one of her, right? And so
Yeah.
if I produce the gajillion videos, she wouldn't be able to keep up with all the stuff that's going on, and I have to pay more people to spend more hours to do more stuff, right? Whereas
Mhm.
AI, it's a machine. It can go as fast as the server will let it go. So from a scaling point of view, I could do thousands upon thousands of videos and pay it the same $20 a month and it'd still be just as happy.
Okay, that makes sense.
So there's your scale.
There aren't really any limits to the scalability of AI, are there? I mean, it takes 20
Uh,
seconds.
Well, it depends though, right? Like sometimes you can hit Chat GPT, and if you're on a free plan, it'll say, "Hey, the servers are busy."
Right.
Again later, right? So there's the scale, whatever the server capacity is, right? So
Okay. Well, that's pretty straightforward.
there's limits to stuff. There's limits to everything, right? Eventually.
Mhm. All right. Well, speed and efficiency. Number 3, AI can process information and perform tasks much faster than human workers. This
Yep.
increased speed and efficiency can lead to improved productivity and faster decision making. AI algorithms can analyze large data sets in real time, extract valuable insights, and automate complex processes with precision and accuracy. By using AI, organizations can streamline operations and achieve faster results compared to outsourcing. Again, seems pretty straightforward. Not a lot of questions there.
Well, the robot can go as fast as the robot can go, and the robot, except for when it lies, which is hilarious,
Yeah.
mistakes, right? So when you say, "Here's the logic path, do this following thing 10 million times," it'll just do it. Doesn't get tired. Doesn't have to go pee. Doesn't have doesn't need to stare and look at the phone and scroll, doom scroll through Facebook and Instagram for a while. It just does the job, right? So you don't have to police it, except for the fact where you're asking it for bibliographies and going, "Hey, is this stuff fake? Or did you just make this up?"
That's the question that came to mind immediately is, yeah, can it slow things down where you have to make it with AI and then also double check everything the AI just did?
But if you look at it, right, this was a lesson that took me forever to learn, right? If you can get staffers to get it 80% of the way there, that's better than you having to do 100% of the way there, right? So if you just have to do the last leg, the last 20%, cool. So even if you have all the staffers doing this, you've got 20% that of the finishing work that you have to do, you're still 500% ahead, right?
Mhm.
So your throughput could be 500% versus 100%. Guess what? I'll take 500, right, for the same amount of time as 100. So there you go.
All right. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much to discuss there. AI is just faster.
AI is faster, AI is cheaper, AI is more scalable, but that's the same thing with talking through using a computer, right? Like, if I had to chisel letters in the stone versus using a typewriter, typewriter's faster. If I had to use a typewriter versus, word processor, word processor's faster, right? So it's just, these are hard to argue points, right? I mean, I think the AI is right in all three aspects, right? Just depends on the context of where you're using it, right?
Okay, well, these seem like pretty solid points here.
Can't
We gotta
argue.
can't argue with these. So let's see what AI can come up with to defend us poor humans. AI, all the humans are going for the AI. Let's see if the AI can talk the humans out of going to it.
Right.
So reasons to use outsourcing over AI: human expertise and domain knowledge. Outsourcing allows you to tap into a diverse talent pool with specialized skill and domain expertise. In certain areas, such as creative tasks, complex problem solving, or strategic decision making, human intelligence and creativity are superior to AI. So far.
So far.
I didn't say I added out. I added so far. I didn't say that. Excuse me. Outsourcing to experts in the field can provide valuable insights, innovative ideas, and a human touch that AI may not be able to replicate. Now, very often when you're outsourcing, you're not necessarily like, I don't often think of outsourcing to experts.
You can outsource to experts for sure.
Mhm.
Right. So, like for example, there was this one dude I hired from, I think like Brazil or and other places in South America. And they were experts in their field for that particular thing. And they were the top of the top of the top. Like it wasn't that I was trying to outsource for a particular savings versus hiring somebody in the more expensive countries in the world, right? This was hey, this dude knows this more than anyone else in the entire world. He just happens to live in Brazil, right? And so their typical hourly rate is still much less than Europe or North America. But this guy, pound for pound, kicks the crap out of everybody else in this sector. So even if I hired someone more expensive, that would be inefficient, right? So because there's people who like dedicate their lives to certain particular things. And whether we like it or not, humans are still pattern recognition engines, right? So but we pull from extraneous sources and insight that the machines cannot, right? So in saying that intelligence and creativity are still superior to AI, that is still the case because we don't know how to program that human piece of the equation yet, right? And that's the part that does terrify me though. So what happens when we do, right?
Yeah. It's just interesting to think about outsourcing like that because I typically think of your outsourcing to, like, as far as coming up with the ideas and being creative and problem solving, I usually think of that as the domain of the outsourcee rather than the outsourcer. You know what I mean? Or you mean the person outsourcing the work is usually done the creative thinking and the problem solving, and it's just outsourcing the actual doing aspect of it.
We've had this team out of Indonesia that was probably the best design I've ever seen in my entire life. And so these guys were designers. So Charisma, Kushnan, if you guys are listening to this ever, you guys rock. Those guys were the best of the best of the best. And what they were doing was they were studying the way and the direction where design was heading. And what was neat was they were actually able to kind of predict which way the designs were looking towards. And then when they built these apps, they almost looked futuristic. And other apps took, a year or a couple cycles to catch up with some of their designs. I'm like, how the hell did you figure this out? Right. And so outsourcing to experts. Now, were they cheaper than, North American designer? Absolutely. Because Indonesia, the currency is not as expensive as the US dollar. Right. So, was it cheaper? Yeah. But like these guys were better, like straight up better than other designers who are 10 times as expensive, right? Because they put the time and human effort into understanding and truly understanding stuff. And this is stuff that blows me away, right? So you're going to get these people who are experts at whatever. You can hire experts as an outsourcer, and it might be cheaper just because of the economic situation of their country, where their average hourly rate is much less than, the hourly rate here, or the cost of living is so much less. Right. I mean, the last time I went to the Philippines, which was a while back, this was like circa 2008, I think a beer was like 13 cents. I'm like, holy crap. Right. So buying around for the entire bar costs you like, $11. I'm like, all right. Right. So it's just like, okay, cool. And here, some places you go and the beer is $12 just for you, one. Right. And so, you know what I mean? So economic status of the country makes a big difference too, right? So there you go. So you can hire experts. There's experts all around the world. I believe it to be more of like a world level, competition than just trying to hire someone in my backyard just because I can reach out and touch them, right? So if you play world level, like, it's whoever's the expert's the expert.
Fair enough. Okay, hey, I got to derail the conversation for 1 second. This is AI related,
Sure.
and I'll throw it out there because this might be helpful to people. I just set up a Google Ads campaign for one of my clients, advertising internationally. Okay. And the leads started rolling in. There was like 20 leads came in over the weekend, 20 forms all filled out from international people. And I was patting myself on the back for making such a great Google ad campaign. The form they're filling out, it has a honeypot spam filter on it.
Mhm.
Okay. I get a call Monday morning from the client. Hey, all those leads are bunk. The phone numbers don't work. Phone numbers aren't real phone numbers. We can't call them. Emails all look legit. And this is for an acting school. And the part of the form where it's like, hey, tell me what you want to get out of acting training or whatever. It was sensible communication in there about acting. It wasn't make your penis bigger or, whatever, or come see me nude online right now. It was, they were all the same, all lowercase, no punctuation, run on sentence. I have always wanted to be an actor, and all my friends say I'm really funny, and I want to be the next Will Ferrell.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you're stunned too. Like, I was absolutely stunned by this. Like, I looked at one of these, I was like, oh, this guy thinks he's the next Will Ferrell. Ha ha ha. Isn't that funny?
But if all of them want to be the next Will Ferrell.
Well, no, all those sentences were different. That was just an example of one. They were all lowercase, no punctuation, run on sentence, but each one was unique and each one was sensible and related to acting.
Interesting.
What is that? It seems like they've got AI filling the forms out now.
Maybe.
But I don't know to what end, because there was no check me out on my webcam now or anything like that.
There's no call to action for something. I have no idea.
There's no call to action for something. So the only thing it would be doing is, the only thing I can think is that it's a rival company burning up
the clicks. Maybe that is a thing, by the way. Rival companies do. So
do the rival companies attack broadly, or do they tackle specific competitors?
It depends on the person that they hired to waste the ad spend on.
Wow.
So
I got a program that's supposed to block suspicious traffic from your ad campaign.
So if you run those programs that block it, you can also check with Google and whatever else, and they'll actually refund you some of the clicks if you get a bunch of bad traffic for whatever.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I spent $800, $1,000 of my client's money on this with all this bunk crap. So I've reached out to Google. Hopefully we'll hear back. So anyway, but it makes me happy to know that this is a shock to you and that you don't understand what's going on. Because I was like, did I make some kind of rookie mistake here? What the hell?
No, I've seen it. What shocked me is that everyone's using the same crappy thing to fill out the same crappy form to fill out the same field. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So but they're bypassing the honeypot filter, I guess, with AI.
Probably.
Or maybe they're using outsourcing because they're handling, they're getting adaptability and unique requirements.
As you roll into the next piece of.
Yeah. But you'd think that if it was not AI, then the punctuation would be different person to person. But anyway, so a good reason to use outsourcing for your spam click wasting campaigns is their adaptability to unique requirements. Outsourcing offers the advantage of customization and adaptability to unique business requirements. Every organization has its own specific needs, workflows, and processes. Outsourcing allows you to collaborate with service providers who can tailor their solutions to meet your specific demands. They can provide personalized attention, adjust their approach based on feedback, and accommodate changes in a more flexible manner than rigid AI systems. Now, AI can respond to feedback too now, can't it?
It can, but it's on rails, right? So it's got to follow certain rule sets and this and that and everything else, whereas people don't have to do this. In this case, adaptability to unique requirements, I would give it half points on this one, right? Because on an outsourcing kick versus, so if I add a third option, right? I outsource, or I use AI, or I use a hire, like a proper hire in the space that you're in. right? So adaptability to unique requirements would always go to the hire, right? Because the hire who's working for you in your company, in your office, at the desk that you provided for them, right? Over time, so we talked about human expertise and domain knowledge, right? Adaptability to unique requirements, I think that's more suited to a hire versus to an outsource versus an AI, right?
Mhm.
So this one I kind of disagree with because I've probably gone through 2,000 people in the outsourcing space over different companies and different stuff I've been in, right? And you don't really get adaptability to unique requirements with outsourcing because the outsourcers are also on Rails, right? They follow a procedure, they follow a structure, they follow a manual, right? And if it gets too weird, they get weirded out, just like as they
Yeah.
should. Hey, this is like really far of the parameter, right? Whereas, somebody who you hire, who this is what they literally do all day, because sometimes outsourcers have multiple clients. If you hire somebody,
Yeah.
this is a job, this is what they do.
So they better be able to figure it out.
Well, they're more likely to be able to adapt to weird stuff that hits the fan, right? It's like, oh yeah, I never seen that before, right? Whereas, the AI sees it and freaks the crap out, and the outsourcer sees it and goes, hey, that doesn't fit in any of our manuals, right? Whereas the staff hire, depending on what rank they are, like if they're just the guy who flips burgers, he ain't gonna change anything, right? But if it's like a mid-level to senior level role, then that makes the adaptability to unique requirements. Those are the ones who'll be able to see stuff. So I disagree
All
on
right.
this.
Fair, that's bad AI. Bad. It's listening.
Good try.
Right.
So when the overlords come, they eat me last. So
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, AI. You're a good AI. All right. So number 3, relationship building and communication. Outsourcing fosters the development of professional relationships and effective communication channels. By working closely with external teams or vendors, you can establish long-term partnerships and build a deep understanding of your business. This can lead to better collaboration, enhanced knowledge transfer, and seamless integration with your existing processes. Effective communication with outsourced teams allows for real-time feedback, iterative improvements, and the ability to address any concerns promptly. Earl, your thoughts?
Relationship building communication, it goes to the hire again as well. But depending on the outsourcer that you've got. So as an example, my very first person I hired for me as an outsourcer for Earl, for me, not for a company, not for some other giant corporation, but actually me, has evolved and is now a business partner. And she owns a bunch of, a portion of a couple of my different companies. And so for this relationship building and communication, absolutely. So for her, she's a business partner now. I treat her like a business partner. She runs half the stuff, makes everything happen for a bunch of different things. So absolutely. But it's not the case for the vast majority of my experience in outsourcing, right? So relationship building communication, not always the case, because some outsourcers have multiple jobs, multiple things they're doing. So from a relationship building piece, they're getting the job done, but they're getting the job done to the extent of the minimum viable requirement for the job versus putting conscious thought into growing something and making it grow. But I think that's also in relation to the way that country operates, right? Because in certain countries, right, when the boss says something, you do that exactly to the T, otherwise your ass gets fired, right? As in North America, we ask them, hey, can you think your way through this process and solve for this? And we like the fact that people can be autonomous and can solve for this. So I would give this back to the hire. For the exceptional cases, absolutely for outsourcing, but for outsourcing versus AI, I would agree with this, but again, I would still go towards the hire versus the outsource, right? So
you do sometimes develop a deep enough relationship with your outsourcer that they can become more partner-like and start offering you feedback, but that's rare, right?
Absolutely, and it's rare. It takes longer time because you've got to through the hurdles of, it took me I think like almost 3 months to get her to stop calling me sir. Right? So it's just like, because that's just ingrained in their culture. Sir, 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 yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And it's just like, no, just call me Earl, right? So to switch from that position of boss and underling to almost peer level took a while for that to kind of kick in. And then, over the years, I've been working with her for, oh my God, it's been 7, 8 years at this point. That's why she's a partner at this point, right? Because she knows exactly how to run, she knows how this stuff works. And so relationship.
So when you use AI, it may be rare, but when you use AI, you miss out on the chance that someone's really going to get to know you.
Well, the problem is that currently AI doesn't remember.
Yeah. I was about to say, it seems like eventually you'll be able to be like, okay, hey, AI, you're now have a position in my company. My company is this, and we do this sort of thing. And if it remembers and stays with you, it'll start to be like, are you sure? You usually don't do that.
Right.
Or this customer hasn't heard from you in a while or something, you know what I mean?
But the problem is with the current subset, with the current technologies, it doesn't remember. So
yeah,
enough communications and back and forths, right? It won't remember that particular node anymore, and it starts to degrade, right? So, but that's where the real heavy lifting for AI comes in, like the memory, right? So, and that's where people come in, right? We remember, hey, remember 20 years ago when you did this? Yep. So, so there are things that right now, and it's just the way the design is made, right? So as AI starts to remember,
surely they have the capability of making it remember. It just doesn't right now.
It just doesn't, because of the sheer amount of room it takes and the amount of cost it takes to do this for, some random people asking it to make it a music playlist, right?
Yeah.
So, there's certain things that it should remember. There's certain things that who cares if it remembers it or not, just generate a new one, right? But that's where it's so fast at generating a new one. Sometimes it doesn't require that. Hey, remember the last time we did this? Nope, doesn't matter.
Right.
So
here's a stupid question, or maybe it's not a stupid question. You may not know the answer to. Let's say I wanted to have an AI that remembered, that lived on, that was my partner in my business, and I wanted to run it not on a server but on a computer in my house.
Right.
Does that require a big computer, or is it just a pretty simple program? Or like, how big a computer would you have to have running your AI and remembering what you told it over time?
Well, the problem is, to have a sufficient AI, it needs a sufficient base data set for it to be able to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
So one computer alone by itself, so just let's use like level 0, right? Level 0 is like the one computer alone by itself only has so much processing power. It's not connected to the internet. It's not connected to other databases. It's not connected to everything else. That's where the firepower of the whole World Wide Web and everything else comes in, because I have access to stuff. This goes back to just like I was talking about that startup, right? Like, in the beginning, it helps you schedule your haircut, but as it starts to get to know you, it starts to go, hey, you normally get your haircut around this time. Why aren't you getting your haircut, right? So it starts to remember stuff, right? So, and that's where the firepower comes in over time. If you build it in such a way that it remembers things, then it's much more powerful, right? But like, again, your computer by yourself in your basement, solo, is only as strong as it by itself. Whereas, stuff attached to servers and the servers attached to other servers, that's where you get that bigger data set for stuff, right? So
do you have any idea how big a computer you would need to run something that ran like ChatGPT?
Oh, like a lot. more than you store in your house, with your house overheating and getting uncomfortably hot. So
fair enough.
Because of the data sets required for it to do stuff, right? Like if you had a baby AI that didn't have any access to anything, and you just wanted to talk to the damn thing, you can run that on your phone, right? Right. Whereas if you wanted to be smart and actually have access to data, you'd need stores and stores of data. But if we get really specific, right, and we had an AI that lived on a computer, and you had every single legal court case in the planet on database, and that was the only thing you used it for, you didn't ask it to give you therapy, you didn't ask it to write copywriting, you didn't ask it to do emails, you just asked it for case law, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right. So a specialized AI sitting on your box at home doing one particular thing with all the data set in the world attached to it, but it could be useful, right? But then if you want this versatility of, hey, I want to ask you 10,000 questions about 10,000 things, well, it needs to be connected somehow. It needs to have some data set to be able to speak intelligently to you, right? I've seen there's these terrible AIs. I don't know if anyone else has seen these ads, but I got curious and said, okay, let's how good is the AI for these things? They're making.
You're talking about the AI girlfriend. It's the AI girlfriend, isn't it?
Girlfriend, absolutely. AI girlfriend.
Yeah,
And
that's why you download an AI girlfriend. You just wanted to test the software, right?
well,
That's what you told your wife when she found you?
well, no, well, I actually asked it the same questions I asked ChatGPT just to see. I
Yeah.
was like,
All
like
right.
what is it? Well, how does it answer? Terrible, terrible.
Right.
It's abject garbage. It's like, no, these are horrible.
You asked it, hey, AI girlfriend, what are the advantages of outsourcing versus using AI for mundane tasks? And it said, I don't know, lover. Why don't you tell me?
Right, and it just wants to send you AI nudes, right? Because that's what they
Oh
do.
my God.
So, and I'm like, really, this is a thing? And then I looked on Reddit, and there's a bunch of people using AI to make fake OnlyFans accounts and actually make OnlyFans content using pure AI structures. And I'm like, I can't believe that's a thing, and I can't believe people paid for this. So
Yeah.
people are paying for AI generated nudes now, and the world
Someone said as soon as the AI girlfriend meets up with the Neuralink technology, humanity's doomed.
that's all people will be doing all day long, just
That's all
talking.
people ever do. Actually, this is a good segue before we get into the hack of the week. You said asking ChatGPT to act as things.
Yes.
So just for some comedic relief here, I had it acting as a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Oh
Tell
my
me
God.
why we shouldn't use AI to do our work for us in one paragraph. And I can do it in the Alex Jones voice. I can't get too crazy though, because Alex Jones sometimes really gets like veins popping in his head and like looks like he's gonna pass out. And
You've already
my
got
neighbors are
change problems.
my neighbors.
I don't want you to pass out. So
Yeah, and I don't want the neighbors calling the cops. But sometimes he gets low like this, and he says things like this prompt right here: "Listen closely, my friend, for the truth must be revealed." Sorry, I sound a little bit like Beetlejuice too, right? If we succumb to the allure of AI taking over our work, we surrender our autonomy and fall victim to a dystopian nightmare orchestrated by the elites. Our economy would crumble. I can't keep it up. Our economy would crumble under the weight of mass unemployment. Creativity and human ingenuity would wither away while a surveillance state tightens its grip on our lives. The essence of human connection would fade into the realm of virtual avatars. That's what we just talked about. Yeah. Leaving us vulnerable and isolated. Let us resist this sinister globalist agenda and preserve our freedom, our humanity, and our very souls.
Some stuff just AI shouldn't be doing. Like the virtual girlfriend thing is horrible. The data sets by which they pull stuff from. I mean, if I were to make an AI girlfriend, right, I would at least pull a bunch of like erotica novels as the subset of the initial piece, like
yeah.
But that would be more for women than for men. For men, you pull it off of just regular porn, right? So you just pull this, and so like the subsets of data that they're using for these AI, fake girlfriends are the wrong subsets of data. It's like, yo, man, this isn't going to work. So
what scares me about that is that out there, there's some poor bastard, some poor shy dude, who's shy around girls, wants to get better, and he's like, in order to learn how to talk to girls, I'm going to use this AI girlfriend to try to learn how to talk to women. And then he's going to go out and try it. And no, dude, it's not how it's done.
Just firebomb his life and not be good. So,
and then he'll just go, you know what? I like the AI girlfriend better. I found that easier than real women. And then
if I can upload this to a robot, then we're good, right? So there you go. But
that's not far away.
Yeah, but it goes back to that old axiom: garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
It's what the data set is predicated against, that hey, is this thing actually going to be useful for anything or not? And sadly, most of it is not. So it's just pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this has been good timing. So here we go. You ready with the sound effect?
There we go.
It's the hack of the week.
Stuff. All right.
Conspiracy of the week.
Conspiracy of the week. So I kind of alluded to this in the first question, but I hire outsourcers to run AI for me, and we 10x the speed of everything.
That's sick, Earl. You're a sick man.
So, but aces in their places, right? So the outsourcers use the AI for summaries because AI is excellent at summarizing.
Mm-hmm.
Then because these outsourcers are really excellent at English. Some of these people speak better English than me, and I'm like, I live in Canada, and so
they learned it in school, and we just sort of picked it up on the schoolyard.
Well, yeah, but we use slang and this and that and everything else we're not supposed to be using for professional language, and they plug it in here, and Google likes their stuff better than mine. So I'm like, oh, I guess they win. So what happens is that we use the outsourcers to use the AI. The AI produces stuff. The outsourcers then double check the AI. So the outsourcers are actually double checking against the AI to make sure it's legit. And then that production that we're getting is the best of both worlds, human and machine, right? And then the only thing that could add to this trifecta would be to add the real hire, and the hire checks against the outsourcer. The outsourcers check it against the AI, and round the world goes. And now we have an engine that builds content at light speed that no one can touch because it's actually handcrafted by humans at the end as a double check, right? But once you understand that process, which is a mind meld unto itself, we then use AI again to SEO it, which is crazy. And then the humans then double check it again for readability factor, and then we again round and round you go. So you're using AIs, you're using outsourcers, you're using hires, and yeah, we have this engine now that just builds content like stupid and eclipses anything else that ever exists. And we're turning like one podcast into like 160 posts, like just there you go. But that's what you get when you get all of it, right? So if you get the best of all, like pitting AI against outsourcing is incorrect, right? Pitting outsourcing against hiring is incorrect. It's aces in their places. Let everybody be in their strength. And what you end up is this symphony of goodness that no one can catch up with, because it's just everybody's in the right spot, right?
Terrifying.
There you go. And with that being said, we're at the end. Should I?
Here we go.
Final comments, or should I roll the?
I've said all I can say. We should ask AI for closing comments. That'd be too weird.
Any final words? Yeah, there you go. You ask ChatGPT any final words from the side of the robots. So, what are you putting for the prompt? I'm curious.
I just give me a closing. Oops, I have to learn how to type first. Closing paragraph for the end of a podcast about using AI for outsourcing work. Hopefully you can read through my typos. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please.
Roll.
And so, my fellow truth seekers, I think it's still on the AI kick from the last one.
Maybe.
As we come to the end of this podcast journey, this is very dramatic. It's a podcast journey. It's like it's the Lord of the Rings or something. Yeah. Let us reflect upon the implications of employing AI for outsourcing our work. While it presents undeniable benefits and opportunities for increased efficiency, we must tread cautiously. Let us remember the importance of maintaining a balance between technology and humanity. These two fighters behind me here. Harnessing AI as a tool that empowers us rather than dominates us. By leveraging its capabilities wisely and with ethical considerations in mind, we can forge a future where AI and human ingenuity coexist harmoniously, creating a world that thrives on the unique blend of innovation, compassion, and connection that only we, as human beings, can bring. This has been Earl and the Idiot. I'm adding this part in. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Earl, for your wisdom and your insight. And thank you, AI, for doing the hard work for us.
Thank you, Dan, for being the great co-host as usual, my friend. All right, we're going to roll the audio. Here we go.
Play us out.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.
That was me and the robot. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Just one final closing comment. I think if we get the AI plus human route, we get Star Trek versus Star Wars, right? Because then it's not the dystopian wasteland. So we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Peace out.
See ya.